Well, all right. Where are we? We are at the Sustainable Living Fair again, and I'm here with Curtis Scheib, my excellent interviewer, who is now my interviewee, because I want to know what brought Curtis around to doing what he does right now. And you're watching Carbon Free Radio. We actually have, and this is one thing that Curtis did yesterday, actually, I believe, was take this rickety Shaw. What do we call it?
Solar buggy, I'm calling
It's a solar buggy now because you put some solar panels on it, charge controllers, a battery, and regulator, inverter, and we are broadcasting live with solar power. And that's how this is what we're looking to do is change the broadcasting scenario from using very energy intensive broadcasting equipment and receiving equipment to just going to the internet and broadcasting from a solar array, this one being a portable one. Our Indiegogo program right now that we're looking for funding is to fund one of these for each of the 7 continents. We want to make this a worldwide event because actually carbon is, I believe, a worldwide event.
And a worldwide problem.
Catastrophe. In what people are telling us. Well, anyway, so Curtis, why don't you tell me what you're doing now? You have Depo USA. You've been doing straw bale construction. You're doing solar installation, and why don't we put it in your words?
Okay. Well, but basically, I'll give a brief history. I grew up in Missouri. I had no environmental education. I grew up in an auto body shop. I became an auto mechanic. And for many, many years, from 7 years on, I was exposed to high doses of chemicals, benzene, toluene, polyurethane, all of these things. Of course, back then, we didn't know any better. And I remember my old man telling me to go dump used oil in the ditch to kill weeds, and I never used any protection. Because of that, eventually I developed what's called chemical sensitivity, and in the late 80s, nobody knew what that was. My doctors thought I was a hypochondriac, so on and so forth, and I did all my own research. I finally realized that I had chemical sensitivity syndrome from being overexposed to all these chemicals. And that started me on a new path, educating myself, finding out about these chemicals. That's kind of where it started. It was one of the reasons I moved from Missouri to Colorado to be in a cleaner environment. I totally gave up my business, my profession, and I had to. I didn't really have a choice. So that started me on a path of looking at these problems, which got me leading into the problems with buildings that were only 24 years old, falling apart, just energy hogs. So I started educating myself, and then as SEI and some other these entities came along, I was jumping in to help learn. And then once I learned, we used a lot of the stuff I was doing. So I started doing straw bale homes, passive solars, what I truly call sustainable building, not green building, but sustainable building. Looking at every product, how it performed, where it came from, how many chemicals were in it, because new homes, new cars, all these things have an off gas, which is chemicals, and that I think needed to change. So I got into that. I got into solar energy. I learned wind energy. I learned solar thermal, and became a so-called self-taught expert on these things. And this has been 25 years ago, and believe me, I'm a redneck hillbilly from Missouri, and if I can go through this process,
I couldn't tell by that hat
or the accent, I'm sure. So the whole point is, if someone like me from my environment that had no environmental education and was taught the opposite of that to some degree, can come full circle and started to make a difference in the world. I've taught hundreds of workshops on how to build straw bale. We did a workshop this weekend where I taught 20 people about solar energy. and then we actually put our hands on, and we put solar panels on this old tricycle or bicycle or rickshaw or rickety shaw or whatever you call it, buggy. We put solar panels on a rack up here, and we got a battery in the front, a charge controller, and we were able to install all this in a matter of 3-4 hours, and 20 people walked away knowing all about solar energy, and they actually got to put their hands on it.
Got to put their hands on it and actually build a system, and that makes a difference when you see that actually happening.
Yeah, and to see that
it works.
See the look on their face when we finished the project and they saw it working. We were plugging in cell phones and laptops and different devices and showing them that, in 3 or 4 hours we were able to assemble something that actually is powering carbon-free radio.
Yeah, we've been doing interviews here for 3 hours now off of this, and I think we could probably go all day and all night. Except I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm kind of ready for a cold one myself, but I think the fact I've been involved with the fair since the 2nd year, and this is the 15th year, and I come here to educate people. I come here to get educated myself because I don't know everything about everything, and some of the people I interviewed and John interviewed are teaching me things that I can incorporate into my everyday life, whether it's gardening, putting hydrogen in my car, saving money, and being empowered to make my life better and my health, because I mentioned before, I think is unbelievable, and I wish every town should have an event like this around the world, and I think
See, it's still on there. So, okay, we're back.
Okay.
We're back. We had a little unplugged problem. Had all the power in the world over here on the rickety Shaw.
Solar buggy.
But my computer was unplugged, and well, that battery gave out. So where were we? I forgot.
Well, I think we were
Wrapping up.
we were kind of wrapping up, but I just wanted to, I think the message that I'm trying to get across is that, you've seen a lot of different folks from different genres talking to us today on different subject matters, and of course all happening here at the Sustainable Living Fair. And I think the important thing is I think that people out there need to, in their community, that really want to see change happen. They need to try to make things like this happen in their town, their community.
It really has to start at the grassroots
It has
level.
to. The kids.
It's not going to start in Congress.
The kids will. No, we can't. I think we're all to the point where we can't really figure to rely on our government to bail us out. We got to bail ourselves out. That's what I've been doing. I educate myself constantly. I get educated constantly. And I think that's the key. And as I learn more, I might put a hydrogen generator in my car. I've learned how to make better soil, food, medicine, natural medicine. There's so many. Every subject matter in our life, in our world, in America can be touched by sustainability, by looking at the way we do business.
Yep.
And the impacts that'll make on us right now, and our kids, and our kids' kids, and everything else. I don't even have children, and I do this for the kids in the world. My friends' kids, the kids I don't know, the kids that ain't here yet. And that, empowers me
standing here waiting for my friend, making it look like I'm waiting for
to keep going, and make a difference, because it's tough sometimes, and there's a lot of hurdles and roadblocks and bureaucratic bull crap and everything in the way. So what I'd like to message to put out is, look, if a redneck hillbilly from Missouri can learn this and grow and change and help other people learn and grow and change, any of you folks out there can do it. And I don't know what else to add to that, John, but I appreciate you starting up Carbon Free Radio. And I encourage you folks that to go on to and I'll let John do the last pitch, but to go on and to help donate to get the goal of getting one of these solar-powered, carbon-free radio programs in every continent.
It's a broadcasting station, we would call it.
There we go.
A mini broadcasting
station. And it's so doable. The technology works. I've been doing this 20 years. I've solar-powered boats, rafts, bikes, houses, commercial applications, you name it.
And now a rickety Shaw.
And a rickety Shaw, solar buggy. So thanks again, folks, for dealing with our technical difficulties, and we hope you tune back in and help us meet the goal of making the world a better place.
Yes, absolutely. And you can go on to carbonfreeradio.com for a link to where you can donate. We are on Indiegogo right now as a funding site for putting together these broadcasting stations, and we appreciate your support.
Thanks again.